Welcome to Daily News in AI Agents, the place to get a quick roundup of the most exciting developments in AI agents every day. Subscribe to our LinkedIn newsletter today in the link below to stay activated.
All right, let's get this deep dive started. Today, it's AI advancements.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. Articles, research summaries, even some podcast snippets, just to mix things up.
So what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, everything from Samsung pouring money into robots to AI that could either steal your job or become your new best friend at work. It's kind of wild.
AI is evolving so fast.
It really is. And I think what's really striking me is this whole AI agent thing. AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's like it's becoming something that can act on its own.
Right, you're not just using AI. It's almost like AI is using itself.
Exactly. And AI is changing the future of remote work. That article really dives into this. Imagine all those boring tasks you do every day, scheduling, reporting, maybe even answering emails, gone. AI agents are already doing that for some remote workers.
I can see the appeal there.
Right. It frees them up to do more interesting, creative stuff. But here's the thing that gets me. As these AI agents get smarter and more powerful, who's making sure they're not, going rogue? Do we just trust them blindly?
That's a huge question, and it's not easy to answer. Evaluating these AI systems is really difficult, especially if we're just relying on humans to judge them. People make mistakes.
Right, so what's the alternative?
Well, some researchers are looking at this thing called agent as a judge, which is basically using AI to judge other AI. Wild, right?
Wait, so AI is judging AI? That seems a bit like, what's that saying? Letting the fox guard the hen house.
It might seem that way at first, but the idea is that AI can be trained to spot problems in other AI systems, and it can probably do it way faster and more accurately than we can.
Yeah.
That agent as a judge research, it really lays out how this could be a total game changer, especially as we start using AI for more and more important stuff.
So it's like having a robot quality control inspector for other robots still feels a little sci-fi, to be honest.
It does, doesn't it? But it seems like sci-fi is becoming reality faster and faster these days.
No kidding. And speaking of sci-fi, a lot of the stuff we're looking at points to this growing AI arms race, especially between these big tech companies. Everyone wants to be the top dog in AI.
Yeah, and ByteDance appears to be skirting U.S. restrictions to buy Nvidia chips. That one really shows just how fierce the competition is. Companies are bending over backwards to get the resources they need to power their AI ambitions.
It makes you wonder, if companies are spending so much money and effort on AI, where does that leave the rest of us? Will these advancements actually make our lives better, or are we heading for some kind of dystopian future where AI is only for the elite?
Those are the big questions, aren't they? And they lead to this other really interesting and maybe kind of scary idea that came up a lot in our research, the intention economy.
Intention economy. Okay, now you've got my attention. What is that? It sounds ominous.
AI tools may soon manipulate people's online decision-making. This article talks about how AI could get so good at predicting what we want, what we'll do, that it could actually start influencing our choices. Imagine algorithms that know what you'll buy before you even think about it, or that subtly nudge you towards certain political candidates.
Oh, wow. That is kind of creepy. So it's not just about AI making things easier. It's about companies potentially using AI to, control us.
Yeah, the potential is there.
Yeah.
And that raises all sorts of ethical questions about, who's in control and how transparent all of this is. How do we make sure AI is used to help people, not exploit them?
Seriously. Seems like with all these amazing advancements in AI come some serious responsibilities, too.
No doubt.
And speaking of responsibility, what about cybersecurity? That's always a big deal, especially with everything moving online.
Absolutely, yeah. And AI is playing a bigger role in that, too.
So I was reading, AI is changing the future of remote work. And it talks about how AI is becoming really important for protecting remote workers. It can analyze data in real time to spot and stop cyber attacks, which is crucial when you've got people working from all over the place.
Yeah, it's like having an AI security guard constantly monitoring everything.
Right. But then there's that other side to the coin. To fight AI search spam, prioritize real human voices, that article highlights how AI can also be used for bad stuff. Like, as AI gets smarter, so do the hackers and spammers who use it to create all sorts of AI-powered scams and fake news.
It's a constant cat and mouse game, isn't it?
Totally. As AI develops, we've got to stay one step ahead of the people who want to use it for the wrong reasons.
Definitely. It's
Sure.
like we need to be developing better defenses, but also educating ourselves about how to spot these AI-powered threats, like critical thinking, being aware of what we're seeing online.
Being smart about it, yeah. Okay, so before we get too serious, let's lighten things up for a minute. I came across this article about OpenAI users wanting an adult mode for ChatGPT. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah. The OpenAI users reveal their 2025 wish list. Right. That's pretty funny. Seems people have some interesting ideas about what they want from their AI companions.
Adult mode aside, there were some other pretty cool things on that wish list, like better AI agents that can actually remember past conversations, or even the development of artificial general intelligence, AGI.
Ah, AGI, the holy grail of AI. A system that's as smart as a human, or maybe even smarter. It's a huge goal, and it raises some really big questions about what it means to be human, what the role of AI is in our future. Like, OpenAI co-founder says new AI safety approach may apply to AGI and beyond. That one talks about just how complex this research is.
It is mind-blowing to think about. Speaking of the future, let's talk about Samsung's big push into robotics. Remember that Back to the Future thing I mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it seems like Samsung is taking it seriously. Samsung invests $181 million in South Korean robot maker Rainbow Robotics. That article really lays out how they're betting big on a future where robots are part of our everyday lives. And when you combine that with their interest in AI, it paints this picture of a world where robots are more than just tools. They're like intelligent companions.
Oh, so we're talking Rosie the Robot, Jetson style.
Maybe. I mean, are you excited about a future filled with robots or a little freaked out?
Honestly, it's both. Robots have the potential to do amazing things like help us with work, take care of people, really improve our lives. But then there's also the potential for job losses, ethical issues, even robots being used for harmful purposes. It's complicated.
For sure. It seems like the future of AI is full of both incredible possibilities and some serious challenges. We're going to need to be smart about how we navigate all of this.
Couldn't agree more. It feels like AI is popping up everywhere you look these days. I mean, even the world of finance is getting a major AI makeover.
Yeah, I was reading about that. It sounds like a lot of financial firms are like all in on AI now.
It's not just hype either, like driving AI growth in financial services. That report mentioned a survey that found something like 86% of financial companies are already seeing real benefits from using AI.
86%. Wow. Okay, so what kind of benefits are we talking about here?
Well, think about all the things financial companies do, right? Analyzing data, catching fraud, managing investments. AI can do a lot of that stuff automatically, making things faster and more efficient. But what's really interesting is how AI is also being used to personalize financial advice.
Oh, so instead of getting those generic investment tips, you could have like an AI advisor that gives you recommendations tailored to your situation.
Exactly. And that's just one example. It's not just about speed. It's about AI making things smarter and more personalized.
That makes sense. So we've talked about how AI is changing how we work and manage our money, but what about the research side of things? Are there any big breakthroughs happening in the labs?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Noteworthy AI research papers of 2024. That gives us a peek into some of the really exciting stuff that's going on. Like, one thing that's getting a lot of attention is this push to make neural networks easier to understand.
Oh, right. Neural networks. They're like the brains of a lot of AI systems, right? But they're kind of mysterious.
Exactly. People call them black boxes because we don't always know how they work. And that can be a problem, especially if we're using AI for things like medical diagnoses or deciding who gets a loan.
So you're saying we need to be able to see how the AI is making decisions.
Right. And that's what researchers are working on, making those neural networks more transparent so we can actually understand how they reach their conclusions.
That seems super important, especially as we give AI more and more responsibility.
Absolutely. Another big focus is making AI models more efficient. Right now, training those huge AI models takes a ton of computing power and energy. And that's, well, not really sustainable.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a real energy hog.
It is.
Mhm.
So researchers are looking at ways to make those models smaller and faster without sacrificing their performance. Techniques like quantization and pruning, it's like streamlining those AI models, getting rid of the unnecessary stuff.
So doing more with less sounds good to me. Something else I've been hearing a lot about is open source AI. What's the deal with that?
China's open source AI champion. That article highlights this growing trend of making AI models and tools freely available to everyone. It's about making AI accessible, getting more people involved in developing and using it.
Oh, so it's not just a few big companies controlling everything.
Right. Open source AI means that researchers, developers, even just regular people can play around with these AI models, modify them, build new things. It's like a giant collaborative playground for AI innovation.
I like that. I mean, imagine all the amazing stuff that could come out of that. More people working together on AI, sharing ideas.
Exactly. And it can also help with some of those ethical concerns we were talking about. When those models are open and transparent, it's easier to check them for bias or potential problems.
More eyes on the code, so to speak.
Exactly. Speaking of potential problems, have you been following all the talk about AI regulation? It seems like everyone's got an opinion on that these days.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. I mean, how do you regulate something that's changing so fast?
Right. It's a challenge. Policymakers, industry leaders, ethicists, they're all trying to figure out the best way to regulate AI. AI regulatory expectations under Trump, that article offers one perspective, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
So it sounds like there's no easy answer here.
Not really, no. It's a
Ah,
complex issue. But the important thing is that we're having the conversation. It's important to stay informed about all the different perspectives and potential approaches.
for sure. We need to be paying attention to this. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, I'm curious about AI's impact on jobs. We talked about how AI agents could help remote workers. But what about the bigger picture? Is AI going to create more jobs or destroy them?
Well, Microsoft looks to prove AI is a boon to the workplace. That article presents a pretty optimistic view. Microsoft's argument is that AI can actually increase productivity and create new opportunities.
So AI as a partner, not a replacement.
Exactly. They're putting a lot of resources into developing AI tools and platforms that they believe will help people do their jobs better.
I like that idea. Humans and AI working together, kind of like a team.
Right. And AI agents might be the new workforce, but they still need a manager. That article reinforces this idea. It basically says that even though AI can automate tasks, it still needs human guidance.
Okay, so it's not about AI taking over. It's about finding the right balance.
Exactly. And that leads to another interesting question. What about education? If AI is changing the workplace so much, how do we prepare the next generation?
That's a great point. What skills will people need to succeed in a world where AI is everywhere?
AI takes over the classroom. That article looks at how AI is already transforming education. We're seeing more personalized learning platforms, AI tutors, even AI-powered grading.
Wow, AI as a teacher, that's kind of wild.
It is. These tools can adapt to individual students, provide feedback in real time, and free up human teachers to focus on other things, like mentoring and developing critical thinking.
It sounds like AI could be really beneficial for students who maybe struggle in a traditional classroom setting.
Definitely. But it also raises questions about the role of teachers in all of this. Will they become more like facilitators, guiding students as they learn with AI?
It's fascinating to think about how the whole dynamic of education could change as AI becomes more integrated.
Yeah, it's a huge topic, really. But for now, let's shift gears again. What about AI and social media? That seems like an interesting mix.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. What's going on there?
Meta wants to fill its social platforms with AI-generated bots. That article reveals that Meta, Facebook, they're planning to add a ton of AI bots to their platforms.
Hold on, AI bots on Facebook and Instagram. So instead of talking to real people, we'll be chatting with bots. I'm not sure I like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a controversial move. Meta's argument is that these bots can actually improve the social media experience.
Really? How so? Like, will they be our virtual friends?
Maybe. But Meta sees them as more than just friends. They think these bots can give personalized recommendations, answer questions, even create content. Like, they think it'll make the whole experience more engaging.
Okay, I guess I can kind of see that. But it still feels a little weird to me, Like, the social media is supposed to be about connecting with real people.
It does blur the lines a bit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting trend to watch because it shows how AI is becoming more and more integrated into our online lives.
You're right. I mean, it feels like AI is everywhere these days. And the apps we use, the news we read, the way we shop, everything. It's hard to imagine a future where AI isn't a big part of our lives.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that AI arms race we were talking about earlier. Nvidia believes the robotics market is about to explode, just like ChatGPT, that one suggests that the next big thing in this race might not be software, but hardware.
Hardware, so like more powerful computer chips, better sensors, stuff like that.
Right. Nvidia, the company that makes those super powerful GPUs used for AI, they think the demand for specialized robotics hardware is going to go through the roof.
That makes sense. If we're going to have all these smart robots running around, they're going to need some serious processing power.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about industrial robots, the ones working in factories. We're talking about robots that can interact with people in complex environments, like our homes, hospitals, public spaces.
Okay, now I'm picturing those robot butlers from the Jetsons bringing us snacks and stuff.
It might not be that far off, but as we move into this world of intelligent robots, we've got to make sure we're doing it the right way.
Right. No robot uprisings, please.
Agreed. We need to prioritize safety, ethics,
Yeah.
and make sure we're always putting human well-being first.
Well, this deep dive has definitely been eye-opening. AI isn't just about cool gadgets and futuristic stuff. It's about, like, really big questions about what it means to be human in a world where AI is becoming so powerful.
You said it.
Yeah.
And honestly, we've only scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore and talk about.
True. But for now, let's take a breath and let all this information sink in. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts on this ever-evolving world of AI. Be right back.
And we're back. It feels like we've covered so much ground already. AI agents, robots, the future of work. I mean, wow.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as we wrap up, I think it's good to zoom out a little. Think about the big picture. Where is all of this headed? Like, what does the future hold for AI? Well, a lot of the stuff we've been looking at mentions this idea of AI evolution, and it seems like things are moving so fast. Some people are even talking about this artificial general intelligence, AGI.
Right, AGI. That's basically AI that's as smart as a human, or even potentially smarter, like OpenAI co-founder says new AI safety approach may apply to AGI and beyond. That one gives us a glimpse into how researchers are approaching this, the challenges they're facing.
AGI honestly sounds like something out of a movie. I mean, what would that even look like in real life?
It's hard to say for sure. I mean, we're still pretty early on in AGI research, but the possibilities are huge. Imagine AI that can solve all these complex problems, make scientific breakthroughs, compose incredible music. It's really mind-blowing.
It is exciting, but it also kind of makes you nervous. Like, what happens if we create something that's smarter than us?
Right. There are definitely a lot of ethical concerns and potential risks we need to think about. Like, as we develop more and more powerful AI, how do we make sure it's aligned with human values? How do we make sure it doesn't, go off the rails?
It's like they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And even though AGI might be a while off, there are other parts of AI evolution happening right now. Like, ByteDance research introduces 1.58-bit FLUX. That one talks about a new technique for making AI models much more efficient.
Yeah, I remember that. They're using something called quantization to make those models smaller, right? Without making them less powerful.
Right. It's all about making AI more practical. Imagine running powerful AI on your phone or even on tiny sensors. That's what this kind of efficiency allows.
So it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making it more compact and energy efficient too. That's pretty amazing.
It is. And it shows how AI evolution is happening on different levels, from basic research to real-world applications. But I think it's important to remember that all these technological changes also have social impacts. Like, AI is going to continue to reshape our lives, and we need to be ready for that.
Right. We already talked about jobs and education, but what other kind of societal changes might we see as AI evolves?
Well, AI tools may soon manipulate people's online decision-making. That article brought up some concerns about how AI could be used to influence us, like what we buy, who we vote for, that kind of thing.
That's a bit unsettling. It's one thing for AI to suggest things I might like, but it's different if it's actually trying to manipulate me without me knowing.
Yeah, I agree. Transparency and control are so important. Like, as AI gets better at predicting and influencing behavior, we need to have clear rules and ethical guidelines. People should have the choice to opt out if they want to.
It's almost like we need some kind of digital bill of rights to protect us from AI manipulation.
Interesting idea. It really speaks to this challenge of figuring out how to live in a world where AI is so powerful. We need to be critical thinkers, understand how media works, and be a little skeptical of the information we see online, especially if it's been filtered or created by AI.
Like, we need to evolve alongside AI, right? Become more aware and informed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The future of AI doesn't just depend on technology. It depends on us adapting, learning, and using these powerful tools in the right way.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. I feel
Yeah.
like AI isn't just this cool tech thing anymore. It's something that's going to change everything.
That's a good way to put it. It's not just something in the future, it's here now. And it's changing our lives in ways we're only starting to understand.
Well, thanks for breaking it all down for me. I feel like I've learned a ton, and I'm also a little amazed by just how fast AI is moving.
My pleasure. And, this is just the start of the conversation. AI is constantly evolving, so keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Great advice. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it interesting and maybe even a little bit mind-blowing. Until next time, keep those AI engines running, but don't forget to use those human brains too.